After the government shutdown in October, which Republicans took the hit for, you were quoted as saying, we are not going to threaten default again by attaching conditions, but you said you don't think there's any chance that a clean, without any condition, debt bill could get through the Senate. So which is it?
Well, those statements are not inconsistent. I mean, some of the most significant legislation passed in the last 50 years have been in conjunction with the debt ceiling, the Congressional Review Act. The Clinton Republican Congress deficit reduction package in the late 90s that led to 3 years in a row of balanced budgets. The Budget Control Act we just did in 2011. I think for the president to ask for a clean debt ceiling when we have a debt the size of our economy is irresponsible. So we ought to discuss adding something to his request to raise the debt ceiling that does something about the debt, or it produces at least something positive for our country.
But you just heard Dan Pfeiffer say the president is where he is, and he's not going to bargain. He's not going to put something on the debt limit. The fact is, and you know, they talk about the definition of insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. When you get in these crises, whether it's a government shutdown or a possible default, the public tends to side with the president. At a time when the president's numbers are low, when you've got Obamacare creating a lot of concerns about this president, you really want to get in a fight over the debt limit?
What we want to do is try to accomplish something for the country. And I think any president's request to raise the debt ceiling, whether this one or previous presidents, is a good opportunity to try to do something about the debt. And I think the president is taking an unreasonable position to suggest that we ought to treat his request to raise the debt ceiling like some kind of motherhood resolution that everybody just says aye, and we don't do anything when we have this stagnant economy and this massive debt created under his administration.
So are you saying right here, we are going to attach something to the debt ceiling, and if so, what?
What I'm saying is we ought to attach something significant for the country to his request to increase the debt ceiling. That's been the pattern for 50 years, going back to the Eisenhower administration. I think it's the responsible thing to do for the country, and I think he's the one being irresponsible by saying, oh, just raise the debt ceiling. We're not going to do anything about the debt or anything else that's important to the country.
Any specific idea?
Keystone Pipeline, a good example of something that would create jobs for the American people. The House of Representatives will initiate the discussion on the debt ceiling increase. They probably will have other ideas.
How about banning any bailout, this affecting the risk corridors on Obamacare?
All of those would be important steps in the right direction. We need not have a default. We're never going to default. The Speaker and I have made that clear. We've never done that. But it's irresponsible not to use the discussion, the request of the president to raise the debt ceiling to try to accomplish something for the country.
I know you like